Hello, friends. It looks like it's official. They are going to be finally releasing Rubber Soul as a Super Deluxe edition. We received the emails today. I'm sure all of you did. And this is what I got in mine. The title of the email was, "It's been a long time. Now I'm coming back home." Well, we know what that's referencing to. Of course, the song Wait. And then, of course, a lovely little moving image with green apples rolling along in the grass, setting a very pastoral image, showing us that yes, it's happening. Now, the big question is when. The big question is what's going to be on it. We know that there will be remixes of all the Rubber Soul songs, which is great. I would love for us to see a 5.1, but that's probably not going to happen because of how Revolver was set up, that reissue. But we can always hope. I wanted to share with you some of my copies of Rubber Soul. This is an original mono US. This is the Canadian one. This is the compo version, which is very fun. And I don't know how many of you have seen these, have copies of these, but here's that lovely label, the lovely capital. And it's a compo pressing because of the very small little indentation. Let me see if I can get that closer and show you. That's how you know it's a compo pressing. There you go. And apart from, of course, an original Canadian mono, I also have quite a few other ones, and I'll show you some of the highlights of those. Here's a US mono, and if you look at the label, it does differ a little bit from the Canadian, and you'll notice that that little round indent circle is a little bit bigger. To be honest, there we go, kind of see it there. You can also see that on the writing there, of course, you can see the perimeter writing, and it says manufactured by Capitol Records, registered U.S. patent numbers so-and-so, so-and-so. And the cover for this one, it's not a mint condition copy, but so there's writing in the corner. But this one has a number 6 in the corner. And that's really hard to see, but there you go. There's the 6. Again, not a mint copy, but it came with the inner sleeve, and I was happy with that. So it's all good. Here's a rainbow stereo pressing. And you love the full, new improved full dimensional stereo listing on the top. And of course, the usual rainbow. One of my favorite Capitol labels is the green target or lime green target. And it looks something like this. I really have to work on my camera work, but there you go. There's side 2. I just love that contrast of the purple and the green, and it's Trey 70s. Anyway, so that's a stereo copy, but this one is a Canadian pressing. So there you go. This one is also a green target, but take a look. See those little 3 dashes right here? The next copy is also a green target, but have a look. You'll notice that there are 3 little dashes. And of course, most people would know who collect these is that it's a record and tape club version, which is kind of exciting. So what a great image. And so this, let's take a look at, and you can see the difference in the green color. See how like a deeper green that is? Very fun. Let me see if I can get a little closer. There we go. Here is a US Apple copy, and you can see the shading of the Rubber Soul starts to change a little bit. And we all know the lovely Apple label. There it is. You know, at some point I'll have to sit down and listen to them again and see which ones I like the sound of. I tend to like later Capitol pressings for the most part. They tend to actually have a bit of a fuller sound overall, but that's not always the case. So, and here now with the covers changed, this is a Canadian pressing. This is an orange label pressing. Some people call it red, but we call it orange here in Canada. I only paid $6.49 for this copy. The label itself is a 74 orange Columbia CBS pressing, but I know that I bought this much later than 1974. So, all right. And of course, the last one that I have of domestics, or the Canadian, is a Canadian purple 3rd generation 1980 version. And I'll just quickly show you. We all know what the purple looks like. one of my all-time favorite pressings is this one. And this is one that I bought myself for, I believe it was my 40th birthday. And this is a -1-1 mono loud cut pressing. And again, it was because it was cut so hot, it would skip on certain crappy record players. So they went and did another cut of it. I want to show you the record itself. This was one that I purchased from my friend Andrew from Parlogram. Beautiful pressing. Beautiful black and yellow Parlophone label. -1, -1. And of course it did come as well with an inner sleeve. Would you like to see the inner sleeve? Okay, let's show the inner sleeve. There we go. And for those of, there we go, it's a little better. And for those of you who have the mono CD box, you also know that it came with sleeves that were replicas of these, which is pretty exciting. So, all right. I have a -4-1 mono pressing, and I also have one of the 82 mono reissues, and this is a -5-5. This one sounds phenomenal. This sounds really good, worth getting. And in terms of stereos, I only have one stereo pressing. I have a -5-3, so I'm on the lookout for some more stereos of this. Lastly, this is, of course, one that people debate about whether they say they like the sound or not. This has a very different sound. The highs are boosted on it, but the vinyl is quiet. And it's an interesting listen. If you want to adjust your stereo, then you can make this album sound good. So the big questions. One, how much is this set going to be? When is it coming out? What are the track listings? What extra tracks are we going to get, if any, that we haven't already got on bootlegs or in the anthology? Lots of big questions there. My feeling and my gut tells me that we're not going to get a 5.1 mix, unfortunately, but we have to live with that. But we are going to get some really good stereo mixes, which I'm happy with. I'm hoping that we get, again, another good mono vinyl pressing of the record involved in the set, whether it's vinyl and CD and whatnot. I'm really also hoping that we'll have some of the different mixes of some of the outtakes, like the 12-bar original track. I'm hoping that we'll just see some stuff that we've never heard before. So maybe some alternate mixes. And there's so much there that, although they were rushed in making this album, and they probably have less extra tracks than they did with Revolver, there is enough here that we could certainly hear lots of good alternate versions. So I'm looking forward to it. This album was released on basically a few days after a day after I was born. I was born on December 2nd, 1965, and this album came out December 3rd in England. So this is my birthday gift from the Beatles, and always has been, and it's always been a favorite of mine. In the comments, let me know what you think. Are you excited about this release? Are you like, do we really have to rehash this over and over again? What things are you most looking forward to in the reissue? I'm hoping for a decent price on these boxes. I'm crossing my fingers on that. As well, I'm really looking forward to hearing some of the stereo mixes we didn't hear on the remixed 62 to 66 albums. And those were so well done. And again, we just had little hints. But a lot of the album was mixed. We had Drive My Car, we had Norwegian Wood, we had Nowhere Man, we had In My Life, we had Girl. So there are certain tracks that we haven't heard yet, and I'm hoping that maybe they'll even do different stereo mixes with using Peter Jackson's technology to separate instruments off of reduction mixes that have 4 instruments or 5 instruments all stuck together. I think of all the reissues, I'm looking forward to this because the team has really done a good job in learning how to use compression. I have big arguments about the Sgt. Pepper reissue and how they made these beautiful sounds that Jeff Emmerich created into ugly, bloated, lifeless recordings. And there's so many things. The beginning of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, don't love it. The 2 big ones I didn't like on the Sgt. Pepper were Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite, that pulsing compression. No matter if you hear it on record, or some people say it sounded better on record, I disagree because it was less limited files. it just sounded ugly. And I have to say, Within You Without You, they didn't understand the tonal complexities of the Indian instruments and comparing them to the Western instruments, the string instruments. And what's beautiful about the original mix of Within You Without You is that there's that beautiful subtlety where they kind of blend so well together. It's like, oh, they're different sounds, but they complement each other well. In the remix, the Super Deluxe remix of Sgt. Pepper, you don't hear that. It just sounds. It's very. The EQ is just disjointed, in my opinion. So I'm really looking forward because I thought the Revolver set was the best that Apple had done yet. I was really impressed with what Giles did, Giles Martin. I'm really impressed with what the team did, and I'm looking forward to hearing if that's the case. I think the Rubber Soul reissue is going to be phenomenal. So let's cross our fingers. I'm assuming we're looking at either at a September date or an October 9 date. Probably in September is as the issue. So we'll have them for Christmas. And again, this was a Christmas release in 1965, so it fits that you would release it around this time. So in the comments, tell me what you're looking forward to. Are there things that you really, really want to hear, want to see? What are your hopes for this set? And let's find out. I guess we'll hear tomorrow what the details are. So we'll check in with you tomorrow. Folks, keep spinning. We'll talk to you soon.